The first thing we are going to cover the introduction to microeconomics. You know that there are two broad fields in economics, microeconomics and macroeconomics, but we are going to cover microeconomics. What do you think? You already taken, I think, microeconomics course last semester, and you know some background knowledge. What's microeconomics? Just say something generally. Don't need to be like very concrete definition about that.
Microeconomics that to learn the economics in the some regions, maybe inside the countries, and firms levels, organizations levels, companies levels. In case of the macroeconomics, we can learn this through the countries level.
Sidra, what do you think? What's microeconomics? Yeah. Country level, yeah, like mostly society level, bigger society. Living. What's microeconomics? Yeah. Yeah. You know this guy? You don't know. Any economics should know him. Adam Smith. And you know, he is the a kind of the father of economics. He was the first guy that introduced economics like as a kind of science. Because before, economics was a part of like philosophy. But he was the first guy that introduced economics more exclusively, separately than what we have in philosophy. So, by the way, he's Adam Smith, the father of economics. So when we come to economics, like there are some traditional definitions that we have mostly. Let's say the scientific study of how individual organization or societies make decision in the face of scarcity. So we have like 4 key terms in this definition: scientific study, individual organization or societies making decision or deal with, and problem of scarcity. When it comes to scientific study, what do you think? What is scientific study? For example, so let's compare economics with painting. And painting also, maybe you go to like art department, you learn about painting. Which one is science, painting or economics? Why?
Because we can use more theoretical forms. Theory.
Yeah, theory.
Theory is like science.
Yeah. So anything else? Why economics is science, not art? If someone asks, okay, you say economics is a science that study the behavior of individual organization and like society, what is the main reason that we say economics is science? Yeah.
Logical reasoning, structures, methodology about a domain.
Yeah.
At this time, we can talk about science.
Yeah.
So, if, for example, in the domain have some experience, they have some kind of methodology.
Yeah.
If they have experimentation.
Yeah. Yeah. Partly, but not like exclusively. So basically, when we talk about scientific study, in the scientific study, we have two things. We should have assumptions, and based on the assumptions, we can be able to draw some conclusions. You already, I think, took a course of econometrics, and you're already familiar with these terms. Ceteris paribus, other things being fixed.
Yeah.
So, as Warren Buy said, in economics, we have theory. And mostly those theory is not like perfectly cover everything. And those economic theory, we have some assumptions. For example, if we want to know the change in demand, how we can interpret that? We say, okay, the effect of price on demand when other things are fixed. By other things are fixed, it means that income is fixed. Yeah? The price of other goods are fixed. Our preferences are fixed. Only we need to know that the change in price on the change in demand. So we assume other things are being equal. And the second things, we have some rationality, reason-based decision making. In economics, we have some reason-based decision making. For example, when you cover the consumer theory, you say, okay, I prefer the black marker to blue marker. By preferring this black marker to blue marker, we have some reason. We have some rationality. Why we prefer this one to this one, why we rank this one to this one, it depends on our own taste. For example, when someone asks me why you don't like blue marker, I may say, okay, I'm sensitive to light colors. When I see to light colors rather than dark colors, so I'm sensitive to that one. So that's why I cannot use light colors. That's why I rank this black color to this blue color. So the second thing is conclusion. That we draw based on those assumptions, some conclusion. And in conclusion, we have two types of conclusion, positive conclusion and normative conclusion. In economics, we have positive economics and normative economics. Positive conclusion, we only say what it is. But in normative conclusion, we say what should be. What should be. So in what it is, we just need to analyze the current situation that exactly there is. But when it comes to normative economics, we think about, okay, this is like that, but how we can improve it. So mostly in positive economics, we think about the current situation. And in normative economics, we think about how to make future better. What should be? Okay, it's like that. For example, now we have very high pollution in developed countries. This is what it is. We evaluate the current level of environmental pollution in advanced countries, for example, in developed countries. But in normative economics, we say what should be in the future to have better environmental protection. So then, for this one, we mostly provide some policies to perform better in the future. But when it comes to this kind of scientific study, so why we are going to do this scientific study? Mostly we are going to do this scientific study in order to know the reason behind the decision making of these economic unit. So we have, we can say individuals, organization, and society as economic agents. Those economic agents making decision. And in order to evaluate those decisions that they make, individual, organization, and societies, we need to analyze and we need to study the behavior or the decision making of these agents based on some scientific approach, based on some assumptions and some conclusions that we draw from the decision making of individual, organization, or societies. And here, the individual and organization are mostly related to microeconomics, as you already thought. But when we talk about the decision making as a whole society, or as a whole country level, or maybe sometimes like even bigger as a regional level, for example, Southeast Asian countries, like Central Asian countries, we mostly think about like the macro perspective, or sometimes even we go bigger, we talk about international economics. And mostly the international economics theory that we have, it comes from the macroeconomic and also the sometimes from the micro. So in a bigger society, we think about macro. In a small society or in the individual level organization, we talk about like the microeconomics. And the thing is, why we are going to analyze the decision making of this economic agent? In order to answer to these three important questions: what, how, who. What means what to produce, what to do, and what to get from our economic activity with our resources that we have. Everyone, so we will talk about the problem of scarcity. Everyone has limited resources, whether it's consumer or producer. So we will think about what to produce, to do, to get with our like limited resources, and then how to produce, to do, to get that we want. For example, as a consumers, we need to eat fruits, apples. How to get that one? Should we work somewhere and earn some money and then go to the market and buy some fruit and eat in order to have some energy to study, to work, and to do our daily activities? Or we should do farming, grow apples by ourselves, and the end we get apple and eat. So there are different ways. So when it comes to like to get, how to get, then we will talk later on about preferences. Which one you prefer? You prefer to buy or you prefer to grow by yourself? And the last thing is who should produce, do, or get. So these are the questions that we need to ask when we analyze the decision-making process of this economic agenda. Why? The last question is why we need to do that. Why we need to do a study the behavior of these economic agents to answer to these questions. Why? This is the most important questions that we need to answer because our resources are scarce. We have a scarcity. When we talk about the scarcity, it means our resources are limited. So when we have unlimited resources, we can do anything we want. We don't need economics. For example, when there is no limitation in time, we don't need to study economics. When there's no limitation in resources, we don't need to study economics. But the thing is, we have limitation. Even Elon Musk, who is the most richest guy in the world, he has limitation. He faced the problem of scarcity. When we think about resources, we are not going to think about only about money. We are going to think about anything that we can use to do some work, to do something. And one of the most scarce resource that we have, especially in terms of labor, is our time. Even Elon Musk faced some time limitation. For example, when we talk about time limitation, we are here now. Can we be at the same time somewhere else? So it means we face to a scarcity of time. We need to wisely allocate what to do and when. So it means when we decide to come to attend to this like tutoring class rather than sleeping or rather than reading some papers. So it means we have some preferences to decide what to do, how to do, and who will do that one based on our own preferences in order to use our time wisely. So as a labor, as a like human, if you say more broadly, we have time scarcity, we have land scarcity, we have capital scarcity, we have entrepreneurship scarcity. But the thing is, why we need to allocate our limited resources wisely in order to get the highest satisfactions from our life, for our things that we do. So, I mean the final things that in economics we want is to analyze the level of satisfaction. How much we are satisfied from doing something. But in order to analyze the level of our satisfactions, we need to study those many things in order to get to this final destination. But this satisfaction or the desire that we want from our activity, it could be different from one person to another person. So everyone has their own way of decision making, have their own way of answering to these three questions: what, how, and who. And for example, when we are thinking as a consumer, we are going to maximize our utility. When we maximize our utility, then we say, okay, we are in the highest level of satisfaction. But when we think from the firm perspective, so if I have a question from you, why firms need to go through all this decision-making process to answer to which question?
How to maximize profit?
Profit. So as a consumer level, we are going to maximize our utility. But as a firm level, we are going to maximize our profit. And both of them are the level of satisfaction. That's why some economists, they say profit itself is a kind of utility. Profit itself is a kind of utility. But the thing is, the difference between profit and pure utility is that profit can be measurable. You can say, okay, my profit for 2024 is $1 million from running this company. But for pure utility, we cannot say, okay, from eating this apple, I got 100 utility. Although in maximization, we have some numbers, but that number only means ranking. It doesn't mean anything that I really get 100 like utility from doing something. So when it comes to consumer and firm, they have different answer for those three questions: what, how, and who. When we are thinking as a consumer, we ask the question like that: what to consume? For example, when it comes to the fruits, as a consumer, we eat fruits when we eat dinner, lunch, or after that. We think what type of fruits we should eat, what types of fruit we should consume. We should consume banana, apple, pomegranate, avocado, which one? So we need to decide how to get that. Okay, based on how we can decide about these questions, based on our preferences that we will talk about later. And those preferences maybe can be taste, maybe the price, maybe the location, and anything else, maybe the season. Those factors affect our decision to what to consume. If we like the taste of apple rather than banana, so we decide to consume apple. But the case is not always like that. Sometimes, okay, I like the taste of apple, then banana, I rank apple to banana, but the price is so high, I cannot afford that. Based on the budget that I have monthly, so I cannot have that much money to buy apple every time. So then I make a basket of those things. Okay, one time I buy banana, next time I will buy apple. Next time I will buy avocado, different things. And then we think about location. Okay, when I'm buying apple, there is a shop just close to our house, like maybe 100 meters. And that shop only sells apples. But if I want to buy banana, I have to go 1 kilometer far. And I'm a very lazy guy. I don't prefer walking for 1 kilometer in order to just buy banana. I easily prefer, okay, I'm buy from the close of my house, just apple. So here the location effect on our answer to question what to consume. And finally, the season. So when it's the season for apple, you can buy fresh apple rather than like the apple that's kept in the warehouse for a long time and the quality is reduced. So anything can affect then how to get it. When it comes to how to get it, it means, as I said, make by yourself or buy it. If buy online, offline. When offline, like supermarket, a small shop, or department store, or go to Malbao Shijang. Which one? Again, we need to answer to this question. So if the Malbao market is cheaper and we have time and we have like, how to say that the equipment, for example, we have car, or we have motorbike, we have bicycle, and the Malbao market, the price is almost 2 times lower than other places, then we go there. And the last thing is, who will consume it? Me or my child? Or my family members? We need to answer to that question. Sometimes as a consumer, sometimes you know that customer and consumer could be different. Sometimes you are the one who decide what to consume, how to get it, but you are not the one that who really consume. For example, I buy for my baby milk from Coupang. Who decide? Me. Or to consume like this kind of milk. So you know that there are different brands of milk. I decide that we should buy this brand of milk. How to buy from Coupang, but who will consume? My child. I'm not consuming the milk for baby. And the same things we have for producer, what to produce, how to produce, and who will get the good we produce. What to produce or sell, because when it comes to like producer side, some companies only, their job only to sell. For example, CU, GS25, 7-Eleven, they only sell. So they will only decide about what to sell. But some companies like Samsung produce. So think about what to produce. Mobile phone, computer, and when it comes to computer, laptop, desktop, touch laptop, or just normal laptop, TV, whatever. And then how to produce? With using which type of technology? And how to sell? When it comes to selling, like we should sell online, we should sell offline. When it comes to, again, online, which platform we should use? We should use Coupang, we should use Gmart, we should use like AliExpress, we should use Temu, which platform we should use to sell our product. Then when it comes to offline, like whether we should make our own shop or we should sell to other shop and like supermarket, and this supermarket will sell, or we sell our product through department store or any other way, or just like pack our product, buy a kind of mini truck. We have like mostly fruit seller. They have a mini truck, they pack everything on the truck, and they go every road, districts, and they have like a small speaker. We have in Korea, eh?
Yeah.
They say, okay, kamja, and also some other things that they bring, so they sell. So which way you are choosing? And the last one, who will get the good we produce or sell? So it means when we are thinking as a producer side or film side, the most important question is that one, who will get what we produce or sell? I mean, who is the target consumer for our product? Who is willing to pay the higher? As Orenbai said, the main objective of firm is to get higher profit. And this higher profit means you should sell your product in a very higher price. So there is two ways that you should get profit higher. When you think about profit, there is two ways. Either you should be able to sell in a reasonable price, or either you should minimize your cost. So both ways possible. Some firms decide to reduce their cost level, but sell their product in some cheaper price. So when you reduce your cost, there may be some bad outcome. For example, you need to reduce the quality of product. So that's why, like, somehow Chinese product, they have lower cost, lower price, but lower quality. When you buy something from Daiso, maybe Chinese product or some cheap Japanese product, they're cheap, maybe at most 5,000, but their quality is also low. So they maximize their profit for lowering costs. But some firms maximize their profit by hiring the price. For example, if we think about iPhone, what Apple's do in order to maximize the profit from iPhone? Maximizing the profit by hiring price. So iPhone target rich people. iPhone never produce iPhone 15 Pro Max for someone who have like monthly income of $200. iPhone target those people which they have like $5,000 per month income to afford that one. So it depends which way you choose to maximize your profit. So the last things, we have like a modern definition for economics. But we covered, like, it's very traditional, everyone knows. But nowadays, we define economics as the study of incentives in all social institutions. The study of incentives in all social institutions. What do you think? What's incentive? Levi, what's incentive?
Will.
Like, let me ask you a different question. Why did you choose to do your PhD in CNU? Mm-hmm. 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 Yeah. Like, for example, when we apply for a PhD program, we decide to apply. And there are like many PhD programs. There's a lot of universities that they offer PhD programs. Like at least, for example, we have 10 options to apply. 10 options to apply, yeah? But we cannot apply to all of them because they may require different types of documents. So first, we think about, out of 10 options, are there some options that they have similar requirement? So the first things that motivate us is similarity between the requirement. We say, okay, out of 10 options that we have for PhD applications, like 5 of them, 5 options, they have some similarities. So if I make my document for submitting, I only need to replace the name of university. Like I submit that document to Chonam University, then I submit next time to Seoul National University. Just I need to replace Chonam with Seoul. That's it. Next, I'm going to submit to Busan National University. You see, we have like Busan, we have Seoul, and we have Chonam. All of them are national universities. Yeah, national university. When they have similarities, it means we only need to change Busan to Seoul to Chonam. Even we don't need to change this part. So it makes the work easier for us. If there are too many things that we need to replace, so it makes us complicated. For example, once I was trying to get data from Sweden, I sent an email to that email address to Sweden, but because I sent the same email address to many other countries, like to Denmark, to Norway, to Sweden, but when I was sending the email to Sweden, I forgot to rename my email that I already sent that email to Norway. I sent that email to Sweden email address, but the name was Norway. Then I got a reply that as far as you are not interested in Sweden, you are interested in Norway dataset, but however, if you want to have the Sweden dataset, our requirement is similar to Norway. Then at that time I realized, okay, I did some mistake here, and instead of like writing the name of Sweden, I write Norway. But then I said, I replied, okay, I'm hugely interested in the case of Sweden to have it. So let me have the more detail in order to have those data. So if there are similarities, so it makes us easy. So that similarity is itself incentive or motivation. And then out of those 5 options, based on those similarities, we apply. Or even, again, out of this 5 options, we choose as a final list 3 options. Not only similarities about the location, living costs. Okay, Busan National University, Chonam National University, they have similarities in terms of their applications, their requirement, whatever. And even the ranking of Busan National University and Chonam National University is almost the same. Like one is 5 and the next is 2nd. The next is 6. Not too much difference. But although Chonam National University in terms of ranking among national universities in Korea is number 6, but Busan is number 5, we decide to drop Busan from our final list. And why we drop Busan from our final list? Then we think about living cost. Okay, although Busan National University, Chonam National University, both of them, they have big scholarship. But if I live in Gwangju, I rent a house for me just within like 400,000 Korean won. But if I live in Busan, the living cost is much more expensive, like 1.5 times higher. Then we decide, okay, although it's 6, it's 7, but I choose like tuna. So these are incentives. So when we think about that, economics is the study of incentive in all social institutions. When we think about the institutions, we can define like this: mechanisms that govern the behavior of sets of individuals within given community. It can be a college, it can be a hospital, it can be a bank, it can be a family, or it can be as a bigger institution government. It can be as a bigger institution government, or it can be household. You know what's the difference between household and family? In economics, when we analyze, we mostly talk about household rather than family. Why? Abroad. Oren, why?
Family?
Yeah.
Household, you mean?
Yeah, what is the difference between family and household?
I suppose it was me, but very different.
There is difference.
Household can be considered the member of the family that in terms of making action, economic action, like in terms of family,
Yeah.
just people getting married.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Household action. In terms of household, economic action.
Mm-hmm. Like Oren, let me tell you like this. This study room that we study together, we can regard it as a household, but that's not family. You, your wife, and your daughter is a family, but this is household. The thing is, family can be household all the time. When we say every family can be as a household when they live together, is a condition. So, although you have a bigger family, which is your father, mother, maybe brothers and sisters, yeah? Although they are your family member, but you cannot consider all of your family members as a one household, because now you live in Korea, they live in Uzbekistan. You are now in one family, you're one family, but two households. One household like here, one household there, if we can think about broader perspective. But when we think about household, if a number of people, they make decision collectively about doing something without having any blood relations. But family, there's a blood relations. I mean, you, your wife, your father, your mother, your brothers, your children. So why we mostly use a household rather than in family? Because there are too many economic agents that they cannot be family. For example, roommates. Roommates in the dormitory, they are household, but they are not family. So maybe in the same room, one person is from Uzbekistan, another person is from China, and if there's 3 persons, maybe another person will be from Cote d'Ivoire. So we consider them as a household, but we cannot consider them as a family. If I say again, family can be household, but all the time household cannot be family. So that's why we use household, because there are some economic agents that will make decisions, but they are not family. When it comes to incentives, this is the key part, something that makes you or motivate you to do something. To do something or to work. If I ask you, Nurinbhai, what motivated you to attend to like this group work that we have together?
And this,
Yeah. Although maybe now instead of this time, because you have Rosa,
yeah,
Ramadan, you can rest.
yeah,
But you come here to have this group meeting.
yeah, because it's kind of experience for me. I want to learn or
Yeah.
when I heard it from abroad, he said uh, that time you previously out them,
Yeah.
and that he understood very well when you were teaching. And as we know, just after we graduating our PhD,
Yeah.
most of the time after finishing PhD, some people decided to be professor,
Yeah.
and or maybe assistant professor, and faces to teaching students.
Mhm.
And the most important thing I think, understand what you learn, but the another most important thing is like explain and teach how to correctly and easily and like very broadly.
Yeah.
So that time I considered to attend this course because of learning every human, as can be said, teaching stuff.
Yeah.
And another thing is like refresh my knowledge.
Yeah. You know that when I was in Afghanistan, I was teaching at the university from 2014 to 2021, almost like 8 years. And in my teaching style, I copied the most good things from my previous professors. Like, for example, I did my master here. Somehow I copied, okay, this part of teaching style, I should copy from Professor Chang Yun Lee. And this part of teaching style, I should copy from Professor Yi Sang Hu. If you remember Professor Chang Yun Lee class, in his presentation, you have some blank. When he provide the presentation before the class, there is some blank. And when you attend to the class, in his own presentation, there's no blank. Why? He want to get your attention to think about, for example, when you receive the slides from the portal, incentive and institution is a blank. Here, again, incentive and institution is blank. There's nothing written. And you don't know what will happen. It makes you like more engaging and curious to know what is here. Because you're also afraid of like final exam. If I should miss this blank, they may be in the exam and I cannot write anything. So then during the class, you listen, but he's talking. At the same time, you fill those blanks. I try to do these things. From Professor Isanku, like he was introducing some problem set for assignment. Okay, I did the same things. Like I introduced some problem set for assignment. And we had another professor, Professor Park, Yunje Park, that he was in business department. He had another good teaching style. Mostly he was running some kind of group discussion, like mostly as a debate. We have academic debate, yeah? So he was in like doing some academic debate. Like he was selecting like 4 teams from our class. Okay, team A, B, C, D. Work on this topic, on this topic, on this topic. Like we had the similar topic. And after that, during the class, he was choosing one person from each team as a debater. Okay, there was like 4 seats, 4 debaters, and he was asking questions, the audience was asking questions, that the class was so engaging. So I mix all those teaching style in order to make my class very engaging rather than boring. Like when there is 16 weeks in one semester, I use like maybe 8 different teaching style in order to be new for students, they may completely expect something new for the next session. So that's also one of the things that you said that we need to learn. And another question, do you think motivation is always something positive or something positive motivate you? What else motivate you? Getting money. Getting money is something positive. How about feeling of failure? Will it motivate you? Feeling of failure. That means if you don't do this, you will fail. Do you think it can motivate you?
Depend on the situation.
Yeah. You see, there is written something such as fear of punishment or expectation of reward. Expectation of reward. For example, you are taking Advanced Microeconomics course for this semester. At the same time, both of them can be true. Fear of punishment, that means if you don't study hard at this course, you will fail. You will fail at both exams, as class exam and in qualification exam. You are afraid of failure. So it motivates you to study hard in order to not be failed in class exam and also in qualification exam, to pass in the first try. And also at the same time, expectation of reward. It means if you get A plus or A at this course and some other course at the end, you will get BK scholarship. Yeah? So this BK scholarship is a reward. But this feeling of failure is a kind of maybe fear of punishment. So failing is a kind of punishment. So that's why fear of punishment and also expectation of reward, both of them can motivate us. Both of them can motivate us. For example, as a foreigner, you are living here. Why we try always to consider all the rules and regulations that Korean government have. You know, even foreigners, they stick more to regulation and law in Korea rather than Korean people themselves. Why? Why we are more careful in living in Korea rather than Korean people themselves? Do you think because of reward or punishment? Punishment. If we don't do that, for example, if we don't pay our insurance, they will not extend our visa. If we do something wrong, if we do some crime, they will just deport us and we cannot back for the whole of our life. You see? If the Korean people do something bad, so police officer may come and may they try to make some cases in the court, and the final, maybe they have something punishment, that's it. But for us, they may just cancel our visa and send us back to our home. That's why, because of fear of punishment, mostly we consider the Korean regulation rather than themselves. But when it comes to economics incentive, we have these types of incentive. Sidra, can you give me an example of incentives that motivate you to buy that mobile phone? Why did you decide to buy that mobile phone? Let me ask you another question, because there are too many different phones, you can communicate with all of them. Why this one? iPhone. So why not another model of iPhone?
Already 11 Pro, I have not buy the latest model,
Mm-hmm.
but I still don't want to change my phone.
Okay. Why you buy this notebook? Why you use that notebook? Notebook.
Notebook.
Yeah.
To write it in.
Mm-hmm. Why that specific types of notebook rather than another one? Like why not same as like Urinby?
We also have the same like me.
But the color is different. Why that color? Mm-hmm. Yeah. You see, that's incentive. So when we think about Livy, give me an incentive that you are using that headphone. Yeah. Rather than the smaller one or that you can connect by Bluetooth. Mm-hmm. And that smaller one also you can connect by Bluetooth to your computer. But why this big one? More easy. Yeah. So that's like the comfortableness is incentive. Wouldn't buy. The same questions. Why you are using this mobile phone? Why you are using this sneakers rather than like different types of sneakers? Why you are using black one?
Like one?
Mm-hmm.
Because I like sneakers. Because I mean, it's dirty.
Mm-hmm.
You can clean very easily.
Yeah. Yeah. Like I use the white one. Like I just washed it last week, but now you see it's getting black. So I guess the cost is low because you don't need to wash every time and you don't need to clean. So if all those things are incentives, they can be something that motivate us to do something. So most of notable incentives in economics is price. They be mostly considered tax, interest rate, or like moral incentives, like society, culture, norms that we have in specific countries. Yeah? Like when we think about culture, maybe religion can be a part of that. Like we use some things, like for example, when we think about culture, why Muslim peoples do not eat pork? It's because of that culture. And there's a coercive incentive, which is mostly related to punishment. If you don't do something, you will be punished by some other people or sometimes by yourself. And the last one is this one, like material reward, like bonus, profit sharing, something else. For example, you work hard in order to get some bonus, extra bonus from your job. You work hard in order to have some profit sharing. You are a member of a big company as a manager. You are working hard not only to get salary, but also to have a share of the profit of the company. You see, you think that if I get a share of 0.01% as a profit share for this big company, but this 0.01% may be higher than my salary. So because of this reward, material reward, which is like profit sharing, I decide to work hard to not only receive my salary, but to have a share in the profit of the company, even if the percentage is very low, but monetary value will be so high, even higher than my salary. You know that some big companies, for example, Samsung, LG, Apple, Kia, they have some profit sharing for their managers, employees. They have bonus. So all these things are incentives that we think about. But the last questions that we will cover today is how incentive works. There's two things: change the choice sets or alternatives, and second, change the individual preferences. Livy, can you tell me how the change the choice set or alternative can affect on our motivation to do something?
Do something.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So the kind of set of choice.
Yeah.
So it's the choice we're gonna do.
Yeah.
Is included in our set of choice.
Yeah.
Or our set of
Yeah.
So if, for example, I'm going to market.
Yeah.
I want to buy some orange.
Yeah.
In my set of choice, I can buy from the agent one
Mm-hmm.
or from the seller two or being. So now I will compare because it's my set of choice.
Yeah.
If both has the same price at this point, I have no incentive to buy from the seller A or the seller B. But if, for example, one of them change the price get lower.
Yeah.
At this time, I still have the incentive to buy orange,
Yeah.
but the fact that my alternative or my set of choice I change
Yeah.
because I'm gonna have more orange because the price is gonna be less.
Mm-hmm.
At this time, I know the fact that the seller changed the price affect my incentive,
Yeah.
affect my choice. So I think
Yeah. So let me ask you, Orenbai, why some incentive like price may change your preferences?
It's kind of according to them. There is Apple.
Mhm.
We have, for example, two types of mobile phone.
Mhm.
One is type of just last version of Apple, and the second is like new one
Mhm.
of maybe Chinese.
Yeah.
And my difference, the very big difference in price,
Mhm.
and in that time, just I have a preference to buy like Apple,
Mhm.
but I have no money. At that time, I can change my preference.
Yeah, you can switch to another one. So Sidra, how society can affect on your individual preferences and choice? For example, living in Korea and Pakistan. For example, when you are living in Pakistan, yeah, you know, based on like our cultural belief, our religion, the Islamic religion belief, in Pakistan, you have most of the products which is labeled halal, at least. But in Korea, we do not have that much choices. How the change in society affect your decision? Yeah. Coming from Pakistan to Korea, which parts of your decision making and choices have been changed? From anything, from foods, from clothes, from like talking with people, anything that changed.
I do a lot of hard work, online search sometimes very hard to find. Just like in case of noodles,
Mhm.
buy noodles easily. Sometimes search on phone
Mhm.
and searching market, how to find the noodles.
Yeah. So Levi, can you tell me some cultural differences between Cote d'Ivoire and Korea that made you to change some of your like choices?
Weather.
Cultural.
Yeah, cultural. Cultural, geographical, environmental, anything
Weather, yeah.
that affect you to change. Why?
For example, the weather.
Mhm.
Because
Yeah,
Autumn.
autumn.
yeah, yeah,
So my country, when I have to buy clothes.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah. Price. All seasons.
You can use more money.
I have to use more money because the clothes I bought for
Or
winter
season.
yeah,
different
mm,
from clothes
yeah,
in autumn can
yeah.
summer and winter.
It's completely 100% different.
Yeah. The thing is, for example, in my country, buy one clothes for 1 year, 2 years, 3 years because you can use the same.
Mhm.
But in Korea, for example, you will buy some clothes for winter, but it's not sure the next winter you're gonna use this.
Yeah,
So this is another additional cost.
yeah.
So because of the
Like you see that just weather difference affect your decision making, affect your choices, affect your budget, affect your living cost. As he said, like in Cote d'Ivoire, there's no like winter. Like they have 2 seasons. So they can use the same clothes over there. But here, like for now, we can use this kind of like jacket, but maybe at the end of March, there's no need to use that. Even in June, then we cannot even like tolerate that kind of clothes that we are wearing now. So that's why those anything that change your choice is incentive. If we make it very clear, anything that change your choice is incentive. It can be fear of punishment, it can be like expectation of reward, or anything else that affect to change your choice as incentive. So that's why incentive may have two effects. First, it affects on choice set. For example, we have choice set A. In choice set A, we have, for example, our apple, we have banana, we have orange, and we have like, what else? We have lemon. We have lemon. But one of the incentive, for example, price, may affect us to change our choice set. For example, it's winter, and the winter, the price of lemon is very high. The price of lemon is very high. So then, ever our next choice, because of like the higher price of lemon, we add apple, we add banana, we add orange. What is cheap in the winter? What kind of fruit is cheap?
Strawberry.
Strawberry. Like instead of lemon, we change our choice set to strawberry. At least one of them is changed.
We can just change, for example, instead of orange, strawberry.
Yeah.
Strawberry does not change. Instead of lemon, we can use orange because it's kind of just similar.
Yeah, both of them similar things.
But instead of the lemon, we cannot prefer the strawberry.
Yeah. So it's the change our choice set. You see, it's the change in our choice set. But how? Change in individual preferences. So it means, for example, this price, the price of apple. For example, the price of apple, P of apple increase. P of apple increase. Before the increase, I used to prefer apple to banana. Weekly preferred at least to banana. But the change in price of apple changed my preferences. Now it reversed. Now I weakly prefer banana to apple just because the change in price of apple. So incentive may have two effects. First, it can change our choice set. That means we can drop something from our choice set and add something different. Like from choice set A to choice set A bar, we dropped lemon. And instead we add strawberry. And the next, change in individual preferences. Before, we used to prefer apple to banana, but now because of increase in the price of apple, we shift our preference relation. And if someone asks you, okay, before you used to buy apple, for example, the shopkeeper will ask you, okay, before you used to buy apple when you came here for buying fruits, but now you are buying banana. Why? Then you will tell, okay, because now the price of apple is high, I cannot afford it. So that's why now I prefer banana to apple. So just price as one example of incentive may have two different types of effect. It can completely change our choice set, or it can shift our preference relation from apple to banana to apple. Do you know this guy? Who likes football?
American football?
No, just football, soccer, the usual football.
From Spain, I think.
Yeah, he's from Spain.
But I know.
He has a good sentence. They said that economics is about creating win-win situation, but in sports, someone loses. So, by the way, so this is it for today because this was our first day. So let me ask you at the end.
You share this.
Yeah, I will share all of them. I will share the syllabus and slides. Let's evaluate what we learned today.